That is makeup heaven right there. That's what that is. Today we are sitting down and we're going to have a whole bunch of fun with the Pat McGrath Cross Bridgerton eyeshadow palette. The, what is it called? Diamond of the First Water, if you will. One of my lovely subscribers, Angelic, actually suggested that I sit down and compare this palette with a heap of different palettes in my collection that would have similar shades and tones, etc., just so that you guys can see the differences and see whether or not you actually might want to pick this palette up or not. And I was like, that's a fabulous idea. Let me go ahead and do that. And then I thought, while we're here, let's also go ahead and create another look with it. So that's essentially what we're doing. Hopefully that sounds interesting to you. If it does, let's go ahead and do the YouTubey things. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We are going to go into like all of the swatches and everything first, and then we'll zoom in and we will create an eye look together. So here we have the Diamond of the First Water Bridgerton palette. Now I already have a review on this palette, and in that review I did swatches of it. So I'm just going to insert the clip of those swatches right here for you guys, just so that you can see the actual swatches of this palette on its own. So what we're going to do is we are going to compare this particular palette to other palettes in the Pat McGrath Mothership collection, but also a couple of other palettes in my collection that might have similar tones, shades, that kind of a thing. Let's start off with the obvious. Now this one here, really the only shadow that is going to come close to this is the one in Subliminal, which I know probably a lot of you are automatically thinking it's quite similar to this. It's actually really not. It's quite different, and this one has got like more of a purple shift to it, whereas this one is like a true blue. I will also compare it to the blue in Subversive because I just actually forgot about Subversive a little bit. So I might just move that down there so that we can kind of see. There we go. Let's start off by swatching this one. By the way, I'm not going to do like full on like swatching of every single one of these palettes up my arm and then compare it to this, because this is 6 shadows and all of these palettes are way more than that. So like that's just, it's not a fair comparison really. So I'm just going to swatch the shades just so you can get the vibes. This is the Diamond of the First Water special shade, so I'll try and get really quite close for you. Like, it's very pretty, but it's really a true blue with more of like a almost like a white shift instead of any other kind of shift. It's like a white blue shift, and it is very like, it's a very glittery astral shade. So some astral shades like this one, for example, right here, which you can't see what I'm pointing to, or actually no, perfect example. So this astral shade right here, these ones here are like not glittery at all. They're more like an opaque metallic, whereas like this one and like this one and definitely this one and this one, for example, are more like glittery astral shades. So there's like 2 kind of formulas that you should be aware of, and that's what this one is. It's like more of that glittery one. So let's go ahead and swatch out of Subliminal first. So I don't know if you can already see, God, look how beautiful that Subliminal shade is. I could just swatch these shades all day long, honestly, you guys. But I feel like you can already tell there's a dramatic difference in those 2 shades. The shift in the Subliminal one is a lot more purple. It's more like a cool tone gray purple blue. It's really pretty, whereas you can still see that this is quite blue and light. This one's a lot darker, so very different to each other. And then let me swatch Subversive. Subversive one is a lot more pigmented. It's kind of like a hybrid of the pigment and the glittery shades, to be honest. But you can, as you can see, it's a lot darker, a lot more purple, and a lot more, it's kind of like a duochrome, this one. It looks so blue in the pan, but when you actually swatch it, it's a lot more purple. I'll swatch this one as well from Subliminal because this is like a white with a blue shift, and this is definitely the closest to it, but it's still different. Like, hopefully you can see. But I guess if you were looking for a dupe, this one right here would be the closest, but this one still has more of like a, this is like a white underbase with like a soft, very, very soft, subtle blue kind of fleck through it, whereas this is more like a blue silver underbase with like a white and blue fleck. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully you can see them, as well as as you can on camera. But yeah, they're still very different, but if anything, this is the closest. Very different, but maybe not different enough for you. Maybe you're like, I don't need it. Like, if you were gonna get it for just this one shade and you have Subliminal, maybe these two shades are enough. The next palette that I actually think has a lot of potential dupes, and I don't think you would realize it until you kind of, unless you really knew the palette extremely well, but I actually think Celestial Odyssey is one of the closer ones to this palette. And obviously not for the Astral shade right here, that's definitely going to be Subliminal. But for the rest of these shades, I really feel like you can dupe them quite well in this palette if that's what you're looking for. So obviously you've got the Champagne right here, which is just, you know, kind of your typical champagne. It's definitely the least exciting in this palette. And then you've obviously got the Champagne kind of color in Celestial Odyssey, which is a lot more metallic and like wet vibes than the one in the Bridgerton palette. So you can barely even see the one in the Bridgerton palette, which is right here, versus the Celestial Odyssey one. This one's a lot more gold. This one is just a lot more subtle, which is lovely for the inner corner still. But yeah, this one's a lot more wet and metallic. And then obviously we have our two little satin mattes here. Now one of these is like, they're so much brighter than you think that they're going to be. Like you feel like they're going to be really quite dark on the lid, and then you try them and they're like bubblegum pink. Like look, they do look lovely together though, don't they? Look at that, very pretty. So I think obviously you've got the two mattes, like actual mattes in this palette that you can compare them to. Again, they're not exactly the same. They're definitely not the same finish. I really like this satin matte formula, you guys. I want a whole palette with that formula. It's divine. But similar-ish tones. Don't mind all the fallout that I'm getting. I'm not the best swatcher. The other one obviously is this one, which is the metallic kind of cranberry. And then also this one, which I've actually never used these pink shades on my lids because they're the least favorite colors for me in this palette. But they're very pretty, don't get me wrong. I just love this palette for the other colors. So they're the metallics. Okay, so you've got the two satin mattes here, the two mattes, and then the two metallics from Celestial Odyssey. So again, very, very similar tones, and probably between those four shades in Celestial Odyssey there, you've got enough varieties to kind of dupe those two colors. Let's go ahead and move on to the next ones. Now, this shadow right here, there really isn't a dupe for this in the palette. You probably, like the closest is this one, but honestly, they are completely different undertones and everything. This is more of like a mauvey plum, and this is like a true dark brown. So I'm not going to bother swatching those. But we are going to go into this shadow. This shadow is my favorite in this entire palette. I know, even over the Astral shade, because, oh, look at it, you guys. Look at this stunning, spectacular shade. I think there's probably a couple of shades in here that come kind of close, but not really. So there's this one, but I feel like this is probably more of a true bronze. Yeah, that's more of a true bronze. Let's try this one. Yeah, nope, definitely not. Maybe this one. But I mean, again, this is more like a true lilac silver. But I guess it's kind of the closest. Let's swatch those together. So clearly these two are not dupes, but let's swatch that purple one together. That's definitely the closest. I mean, it's still not exactly the same. What if you layered this one with this one? And that's kind of it. Kind of. Maybe this one. Oh, that's kind of even a little bit more. What do you think? So again, like kind of ish close, but not the same. So it would just depend on, again, if this was like the shade that you were really looking at and you had these shades, sorry, like, is that worth it enough for you? You just have to decide. I think that's kind of it for these palettes. So let's move on to the next one. Let's do Divine Rose 1 and 2 next, shall we? I feel like the obvious one is this one right here, which is like that bubblegum pink with this one right here, right? But again, still they're very different. They're similar, but they're very different. This is more muted. And like, obviously this one's too rose goldy, see? Same with this one. Too rose gold. Definitely not the same, but maybe that's not different enough for you. Do you know what I mean? And then let me swatch this matte for you. I'll swatch it next to it so you can see. There you go. So again, maybe they're not different enough for you, but they are different. So it just depends. What next? Definitely this one, right? Okay, and definitely this one is like the immediate one screaming out to me. Oh, so close yet so not. The closest we've kind of got though, right? And then let's try this one. God, there's a lot of purples in her palettes when you really kind of break it. Oh my God, look, they're like the same. They're nearly the same. So that was this shade and this shade. Okay, let me take this off and do that again. Oh my gosh, they are so similar. So similar. Like not exactly the same, but so close, right? So close. That's definitely, I think, the closest we've got out of all of the shades. We need to do the matte in here because I feel like there might be a slight, something that will come close. I think the one from right here might come, oh, so close. Let's try the brown because this brown actually leans more mauve than you think. Yeah, no, still more brownie. Okay, let's try you for just for science purposes. Oh, that one's actually probably the closest. Well, there you go. So this one and this one is the closest, but still very different. Like, I don't know if you guys can, hopefully this is somewhat helpful for you, but like this one's way more purple than this one, but it's very, very close. I think that's kind of it for these two because, I mean, you've got your champagne shade, but like, honestly, this is the same as like nearly all of the motherships. And that's why I'm not like duping it because it just is really similar. Like it's a champagne highlighter shade. And yeah, they all are slightly different. Some are more gold, some have a pink shift, some are glowier, some are more metallic, but they're all still so, so close. See? Really, it's the least exciting shade in the palette. Okay, let's just have a quick look at Huetopian Dream for science sake, because actually maybe the two mattes in here are similar. Let's have a look. God, my arm is getting rubbed raw. Yeah, I didn't actually think about this. This could be, oh no, this is still really quite brown. There you go. Definitely not the same. I mean, vibes, I get the vibes, but like, it's not the same. This one, but it's not gonna be the same. This is too pink with this one. Oh, this shadow in Huetopian Dream. Look, amazing. What about this one? The duochrome. I just wanted to swatch it, if I'm honest. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything really in Huetopian. I mean, obviously these two will be similar. It's just a champagne, but yeah, I don't think there's really anything. Like if you look at this blue, obviously it's very different against the purple. See, that kind of a thing. God, look how stunning they swatch. Is that not glorious? That is makeup heaven right there. That's what that is. Okay, so they're all the Pat McGrath palettes that I think are kind of even close. Let's have a look at Natasha Denona Retro because this was this one, and then I've got Huda Beauty Rose Quartz next because Angelic really wanted to see those. This one is quite interesting. Let's zoom in because these are two smaller of palettes. There we go. You can see this is like so much more muted than this one, but this one's gonna be too bright. It's just gonna be like you've seen, that's such a bubblegum pink, but maybe this color. Don't worry that that's not swatching bad. It's because my arm is rubbed raw, so it hurts. Maybe, I think this one will be too light. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's too neutral. Oh, I just accidentally put my wet finger in there. God damn it, I hate doing that. I fixed it. It's obviously too burgundy. That one's gonna be too burgundy. Okay, so no real matches to the pink shades because there's no like, they're so much brighter than you think. I just think these are so much pinker than you, like more like a bright bubblegum pink than you even realize. Than like what they look like in the pan, I should say. But this one could be a good match for Heliotrope here, or Helio, sorry, not Heliotrope. Oh, even then, look, still very neutral. This is obviously too silver. It's such a unique shade, this one. Definitely the one in Divine Rose 1, I think it was way the closest by far. So yeah, I don't think that there's that many dupes in there, if any at all. The last palette is Huda Rose Quartz, and when I was looking at this before, I was like, oh, I don't think there's really anything in here, but we'll have a go. So the only one I guess is probably like this one with maybe, we'll try this one. Oh God, that shade is beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. Oh, stunning. Try this one. Probably this one is definitely the closest right here. This was called Abundance. Definitely the closest. They're so pretty. Aren't they gorgeous? I love them. I love all these shadows. I want to put them all on my eyes at once. Let's have a look at this one, Blissful. Oh, Blissful's really similar to the Subliminal. Look, we're really going off track here. Just as a side note, that Blissful shade in here looks quite similar to this one from Subliminal. Subliminal's a lot more purple, whereas that has like a more of a silver undertone, I guess. I had to see that because I thought that they looked very similar. Maybe this one, maybe this one. This one does turn out more mauvey than you think. That one's kind of similar. That one's kind of similar. Obviously this one is deeper, so this is the Bridgerton one. This is the Gratitude. Similar-ish. Let's try this. No, that one's too much of a dark brown and I just got fallout everywhere. Alright guys, that is it. That is all the swatches comparing this particular palette. I mean, I think if you have every single Mothership palette, you have enough shadows in the Mothership collection to really, or even just Celestial Odyssey on its own, apart from this one shade. If you have Celestial Odyssey, like, you really don't need this. You can create such similar, look how stained my fingertips are, just as a side note. You really can create such similar looks with Celestial Odyssey, or if you have all of the Motherships, you'll be able to create really, really similar looks. In saying that, none of these shades are exactly the same, which is a great thing because then she hasn't actually created new colors, you know what I mean? That wraps up the swatches. Let's go ahead and move on to the look part. You are zoomed in nice and close. Also, just quickly, because this is the first video that I am shooting with this on, I do, as you know, I'm pretty sure I posted on my community tab a big rant about it the other day, so I'm sure you know now. But I suffer from severe hair loss, so I actually wear alternative hair. Normally I wear a hair topper, but I just recently bought a human hair wig, and this is like my first day like guinea pigging it, so I am wearing it. If it looks a little odd, like, just be kind to me, okay? Because I have no freaking idea what I'm doing with wigs, all right? I'm learning how to do the whole thing. I've been watching so many YouTube videos, so if any of you are experts with wigs, let me know. Let me know. Anyway, let's get ahead and get into this look. So I'm going to prime with my Mario primer, like I do. Let's go ahead and create a look. I don't really know what to do. I really loved the look I created in my review video, and so many of you guys did too, and honestly, it turned out so beautiful. Every time I looked in the mirror after that look, I was like, God, this eye look is amazing. These shadows are just beautiful. So I'm gonna try and create something that's different, but again, I used every color, so I don't know how it's gonna be too different. But anyway, so the first shadow that I'm actually going to dip into is not actually in this palette. I'm gonna dip into this shadow from Sublime because I want to, like, I don't want to go so bubblegum pink. I don't want to go the exact same route that I used last time, and if I kind of use that, it's going to be the same. So just use your bronzer or something. You don't have to use Sublime, or you can just skip this step completely. This is just what I'm choosing to do. But if you have Sublime, you can obviously use it if you're playing along, or just use any neutral shade. It really doesn't matter. Delium Tool 785, and I'm just going to really lightly, like, just fluff this through the crease, like nothing revolutionary whatsoever, my friends. And then we'll move on to the Bridgerton palette. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna pick up this shadow right here on a Lunar Beauty number 5 brush, and I'm just gonna pick it up. I do love these satin matte shades. They are so beautiful. I want more shades in this satin matte, that's for sure. And I'm going to tap this all over the lid. It definitely surprised me that these, like this burgundy shade and that, they're so much lighter on the eye than you like anticipate. You think they're gonna be a lot darker. So I'm just tapping. So I hopefully don't get too much fallout like I have, because I can't see because my mirror is too far away. Let me get you closer, darling. Let me actually just take my finger. I feel like maybe that might work a little bit easier and quicker. When I saw this shadow in my like review, oh sorry, you can see my mirror. Apologies, there we go. When I used this shadow in my review, I was like, oh, this would make such a beautiful one and done kind of shadow. So I had to do it today. I'm going to blend on the edges here. You could do this the opposite way as well. If you find that like way to go quite difficult, you can blend that shadow through the crease first and then pack it on the lid. Sometimes that's easier. It just depends on what you prefer to do. See that like as a one and done? Oof. Oof, that's pretty. You could just honestly throw some, even like just throw some mascara on now and you're good to go. Like how pretty. And if you, especially if you don't have like hooded eyes and you could put like a big wing. Ooh, honey, the drama. Is it me? Am I the drama? Now I am going to actually go back into Subliminal and pick up that same initial transition shadow, and I'm going to run that underneath here. I just don't really want to put the cranberry under here, to be honest. I think it's gonna make me look bad. Also, I'm testing a new concealer and it's not going well, so my under eyes look really bad. Like really bad. My under eyes look horrific. Now what I'll do is I will go into this plum shade right here with a pencil brush. This is a What's Up Beauty R101. And I'm just going to pop that here as well. I think like this shadow will be a really nice one and done as well all over the lid. I'll do. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of my Pat McGrath Intensify stick and I'm just going to lightly tap it over here. Oh my God, I just stabbed myself in the eye. Far out. Okay, well don't tap as hard as I did. So my camera stopped recording without me noticing, so that's fun. But you actually haven't missed too much, honestly. All you missed was me picking this shadow up with my finger and tapping it over here, which I'm actually going to redo anyway because it's kind of disappeared a little bit. So I just did that over the pink. There you go. And then I got my Makeup by Mario brown eyeliner and I created this wing here and I put my Charlotte Tilbury black eyeliner in the top waterline. That's all you've missed. Okay, that's it. Now I am actually going to pick up the plum shade, like the plum matte shade here with an angled brush. And I'm just gonna go over this liner. I actually just want this to be like a soft kind of smokier wing, but I just wanted to lay down the kind of color first. I don't know how I feel about this look. This is probably one of, maybe it's a bad look. I'm not sure how I feel yet. I'm gonna pop the champagne color in my lower waterline. I'm just gonna go and put some of my Dark Star mascara on. And then if I wanna do anything else, I'll come back and we'll do that. Otherwise, you might just skip to seeing the finished look if I feel happy with it. I'm not sure yet. What do you guys think? Anyway, let's go do that. Okay, so this is the finished makeup look. What do you think? I decided not to do anything further with the eyes because this really is not a look that I would normally ever do. You've probably never even seen anything like this on my channel, and even just before I was like, oh my gosh, have I just like botched this completely? But actually with the mascara and the wing and it all kind of coming together, I actually really quite like it. It's quite simple, it's easy to do, and it's just like a little bit different. So, and I feel like if you were to go out at night, like just the light hitting that astral shade on your lids would just look so pretty, especially under that cranberry color. So yeah, anyway, side note, that's the look. Let me know what you think. I hope that the swatches and comparisons, etc. were helpful in some way, shape or form in allowing you to make a conscious decision as to whether or not this palette is for you or whether you would like to pick it up, etc. Like I said, I think the quality, I still stand by the fact that the quality of this palette is really, really lovely. The color scheme is not super, super unique. Like this shade's beautiful, but like the color scheme is not super, super unique. And I'm sure that there are dupes out there for most of these shades, but it's just going to depend again on one, How much do you want it? Do you think it's something unique to you? Will you use it on the kind of everyday? Are you a huge pat lover and that's why you would pick it up? If you're wondering about the quality, then it's exceptional. Or do you love Bridgerton? If you're a huge Bridgerton fan, again, like I think it's really worth it for that because it's so pretty, etc. But I don't know, like only you can decide that. So yeah, anyway, that is the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you're watching till this point, you are a true legend. I appreciate you so, so much. Thank you if you are. Please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I hope that you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.